What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday and welcome to the Early Edge. We've got a lot going on right now. We got the PGA Championship going on right now. We got day baseball, we got evening baseball, and we've got some surprises, not just the NBA and some of these other sports. We've got some Preakness surprises for you as well, so stay tuned for that. But let's take a look at the recap screen before we do anything else. So this is what I'm talking about. We've got a lot more green than red here. The only pick that loses is the SportsLine pick, 5-1 overall. Absolutely love to see it. Good job from Tim Doyle and Chicago Joe. What a great show and performance from them yesterday. My play yesterday, of course, that I gave out is still pending because that is going on right now with Bet On in the morning wave at the PGA Championship. And by the way, I'm sure you know that the NFL schedule came out last night. We're going to have a special show for you, and it's going to be within the next couple of hours on this channel. We've got our NFL Week 1 preview. Lines are out, ladies and gentlemen. Today at 12 p.m., it's going to be me, Larry Hartstein, and RJ White. We're going to attack every single game. You're not going to want to miss it. Let's bring in the stars of the show. Again, it's a Thursday. It's the Early Edge. So we have our Thursday crew plus one. We've got Gene Menez here, Mike McClure, the sniper, and Propstarz. We're covering pretty much all of the bases. And Gene, first of all, I got to start with you. First of all, welcome to the show. How excited are you? I mean, listen, I hope you're excited to be on the show, but it's the second leg of the Triple Crown this week.
Oh, I'm super excited to be here. You know, I got to dust off because it's been so long since you guys have had me here. But listen, that's great. We got the Preakness Stakes this weekend, the second leg of the Triple Crown. Mystic Dan's going to try to become the 13th or 14th, actually, Triple Crown champion, and we'll see what he can do on Saturday.
All right, Gene, well, we're going to get started with you. Let's talk about maybe a winner. You mentioned Mystic Dan. I don't know if that's your winner. Let's talk about a winner and perhaps a long shot at this Preakness Stakes.
Right. So 2 weeks ago, I gave out Mystic Dan as a live long shot in the Kentucky Derby, and he came through at 18-1. Everyone saw him skim the rail, got a ground-saving trip, and win by a desperate nose there in a three-way photo finish in Kentucky. But coming back in 2 weeks and winning the Preakness Stakes off that hard effort is a completely different story. I love Mystic Dan. I'm going to be rooting for him. The horse racing fan will be rooting for him because I want to see a Triple Crown on the line in 3 weeks at Saratoga in the Belmont Stakes. But I don't think he's going to be able to replicate that effort on 2 weeks rest. He tried to do that before, actually, after his first win, first career victory. His trainer, Ken McPeak, brought him back in 2 weeks rest, and he ran fifth in a field of 11, losing by 8 lengths. So the history is not on his side coming back in 2 weeks. So my top pick is going to be Tuscan Gold. Tuscan Gold is a very lightly raced horse. He's only raced 3 times. He's trained by Chad Brown, one of the best trainers out there. Tuscan Gold, in his last race, finished third in the Louisiana Derby when he was up close to the pace and held on. It actually was a career best effort for him. He's now had 8 weeks rest coming into the Preakness Stakes, and I think he's going to run well. As I said, Chad Brown's won this race 3 times before, or twice before. He knows how to get a horse to peak on the third Saturday in May. So he's going to be my top pick. I also like, as a long shot, Just Steel. Now, I'm not sure he's going to win like Mystic Dan did 2 weeks ago, but he could definitely outrun his odds. He's 15-1 on the morning line. Just Steel showed speed in the Kentucky Derby uncharacteristically. He likes to usually come off race a little bit behind the speed horses. They made a jockey switch from Keith Asmussen to Joel Rosario, and I think that's going to help. And actually, I think it kind of signals their game plan that they're going to maybe take back a little bit and have more energy late. So wouldn't be surprised to see him outrun his odds at 15-1.
Oh, absolutely love that. A lot of Justin Steele references in the chat.
I was going to say, I love the Just Steele pick just because of Justin Steele. So I'm in on that one as well.
I think Blue Steel from Zoolander, and I noticed there's a horse in the race called Mugatu. So like all these worlds are colliding right now. Gene, before we let you go on all this Preakness stuff, can you, look, I know you have an Exacta box to give out. I want you to give it out pretty quickly, but I also kind of want you to explain what an Exacta box is for those who are uninitiated. Just a quick explanation and then who you got in your Exacta key box.
So an Exacta is when you is a bet where you bet the first and second place horses correctly in the correct order, right? So let's say you like Secretariat 2 and you like Secretariat 1 and American Pharaoh 2. They've got to finish in that order for you to cash your bet. It's the first and second place horses. Now, in a box, you can just throw all those horses together. In a box, you can throw 8 horses together in a box, and that would be 56 different combinations. But what we're going to do for our Exacta is I'm going to key my top pick, Tuscan Gold, with 3 other horses. I already mentioned Just Deal, my long shot. He is number 9. I also like Catching Freedom, and I just saw a video of Catching Freedom training this morning at Pimlico. He looks great. Imagination. So I'm sorry, Just Deal's number 7, Imagination's number 9. We're going to key Tuscan Gold over the 3. Tuscan Gold's the 8. We're going to key him over the 3, 7, 9 in an Exacta box, and that will also so you win if it's 8 with 3, 8 with 7, 8 with 9, and you'd win if it's 3, 8, 7, 8, 7, 9, meaning Tuscan Gold finishes second to those 2. I hope that wasn't too complicated for you guys.
No, that actually makes a lot of sense because I'm not like huge on horse racing. I thought you explained that really well, that in that key box, the 8 horse can finish first or second if you put that bet together correctly. Gene, absolutely love it. Love all the Preakness stuff. I know, by the way, you're going to be back for the Belmont Stakes. At least I hope you're going to be back on the show. I hope you'll accept our invite to be back on the show for the Belmont Stakes as well. That was great stuff.
Thanks. I hope to be back, guys.
Oh, absolutely. No, you're always invited. By the way, Buckets is not on the show, and some of you might be surprised.
I've never missed him more than after him explaining that Exacta right there. It would have been amazing to see Buckets.
That would have been theater. You're so right. Well, good news. I think Buckets might actually be in the chats at some point during the show, but we've got Buckets picks. There are SportsLine picks, but they also happen to be Buckets picks. So let's give out those soccer picks right now. Leeds and Norwich, both teams to score -115. And then we've got Real Betis. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Team total over 1.5 at +100. It's football season, so I'm going with Real Betis, aka Jerome Bettis. That's even money over 1.5. If you want to take that bet, and by the way, I see Chris Kish, I see Bradley Jacobs in the chat. If you soccer cappers have more soccer picks to put in the chat, please put them in there. If you want to make any of these picks, just go to BetMGM. New BetMGM customers can sign up today and get up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Just place your first wager of at least $10 and you'll receive up to $1,500 instantly if your bet loses with bonus code EDGE. That's bonus code EDGE, EDGE. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got to get to way more picks, including snipers, mine, Mike McClure, and Proppy. Gene, we're going to bid you adieu. We're going to see you very soon for the 3rd leg of the Triple Crown. Thanks for joining the show. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to hear a break from our sponsors.
We need your sports news anywhere.
We've got breaking news to bring you.
Then get your sports anytime you want them. Big trade news overnight to discuss.
Because we know you need sports all the time.
A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
A legend adds to their legacy.
We're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
CBS Sports HQ, anywhere, anytime, all the time.
We are back on the Early Edge, presented by BetMGM. A-Mags is in the chat. Ask him a question. Maestro is in the chat. Ask him a question. By the way, hit the like button if you could. Proppy, I want to go to you. We got an NBA game tonight at 8:30. Man, a week ago, I was thinking Denver was down and out, and that the Minnesota Timberwolves were going to beat the Celtics in the finals. Well, here we are. The Denver Nuggets are up 3-2, and now we're in Minnesota. Minnesota's a 2-point favorite. You don't have a play on the side, but you do have a prop that you like in this game.
I do not have a prop in this game, Sia, but I will gladly break down the game if we want to.
MLB. That's right, MLB. My bad, Proppy. You know what? I do want to kick it to McClure about the game, but if you have any thoughts on the game, please, from a side standpoint or a total, let me know. But I know you have an MLB prop.
Yeah, I'll defer. Are we going to McClure right now, or should I give out my MLB prop?
Go do the MLB prop.
Okay, all right. We are going to fade Jared Jones of the Pittsburgh Pirates, the very promising 22-year-old pitcher who's gotten off to a fantastic start. I'm going under 17.5 outs for Jones. I actually think this is a tougher spot than it may appear for him. He's facing the Cubs in back-to-back starts, and as the sniper has astutely pointed out, I've observed this as well. It's tough to face a team in consecutive starts here. I also think the Pirates are rightfully careful with Jones not to overextend him. He's only eclipsed 90 pitches in 2 of his 8 starts this season. Also, the Cubs have been pretty good recently. Over the last 2 weeks, they ranked top 10 in the majority of hitting metrics, including OPS. They're familiar with Jones as well. He's also struggled the third time around through the order. So I think there's a lot of signs pointing to him finishing with less than 6 innings pitched today against this Cubs lineup that's definitely been playing well recently.
All right, I like that play. Let me ask you real quick, Proppy. Do you like a side on this? Listen, I'm not asking for an official play, but I can't believe I'm saying this. I lean towards the Timberwolves giving up the 2 points here, -2 at home against Denver. Do you have any lean one way or the other?
I personally had such a hard time with this series. Obviously, never expected Denver to lose the first 2 games at home. Thought Denver was done at that point. Then they go to Minnesota, they won 3 consecutive games, including 2 in a row. So, this series has been wildly unpredictable here. It appears to me that Denver has all of the momentum. I mean, you'd have to imagine they show up for this game, but I thought they actually had a good effort in the last game. Just could not stop Nikola Jokic, who's playing at the MVP level that he is. So I lean towards Denver here, but that's really a toss-up as far as I'm concerned.
Mike, your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, so first of all, I'll say I'm definitely not playing it. I will watch it as a fan, and it will be fantastic, but I have no play on this game. If I were to play something, I'd have to lean to the Denver side after what I've seen. They knocked off the Minnesota Timberwolves 3 consecutive games. First time Minnesota's lost 3 games in a row all season, which is pretty impressive. Shows you how good Minnesota really has been when you talk about such a long season like that. But the question about Mike Conley playing, not playing, he's clearly dealing with that Achilles injury. Anthony Edwards is phenomenal. He can't do it himself. And Nikola Jokic is so good. Jamal Murray didn't even play well in that last game. Michael Porter Jr. was awful in that game as well. If Denver has just an average effort from everyone else, Nikola Jokic is enough to win this game.
Proppy, you had something good.
I think Mike really hit the nail on the head regarding Denver's not even playing well. Michael Porter Jr. averaged over 23 points per game in that first series against the Lakers, had 20 points in every single game. He's shooting sub 40%, and he's been held under 10 points in 3 of the 5 games in this series against Minnesota. So really, if they get contributions from Porter Jr. or just other guys, I think Denver's in really good shape as well.
And Sniper, I saw you kind of nodding your head a little bit. Do you have a take on this Denver Nuggets game tonight? Denver getting 2 points in Minnesota.
No, I was just appreciating the information and the knowledge that they have.
Fair enough. But I'm gonna put you to the buckets test here, though. Like, if you had to pick a winner, who's it gonna be?
I was just kind of feeling like they lost 3 in a row. It's going home to Minnesota. The Timberwolves' backs are against the wall. That feels like a game where the team steps up. But then again, maybe the Nuggets will just overwhelm them because, I mean, given that they already won 2 in Minnesota. So I don't know. I mean, the extent to which I know other NBA teams other than the Pacers, it does feel like it's a stay away.
Oh, for sure. It does totally feel like a stay away. I got to be honest, this NBA playoffs has been highly unpredictable, more so than previous NBA iterations.
Very entertaining, too. Incredibly entertaining.
That's for sure. And we're seeing some emerging superstars that maybe we didn't think really were going to emerge maybe 1 or 2 years ago, which is always exciting for the sport. All right, well, let's change sports, Sniper. Let's go to your wheelhouse. Let's go to baseball. And what I love about you, I like both of your picks, but one of your picks kind of feeds into mine. And I got to be honest.
All right.
Like the way you're playing it more than the way I'm playing it. But I like them both.
We can get both. Yeah, we can get both.
Let's talk about both of your MLB plays.
Well, I'll start elsewhere. So mine leads perfectly into yours. We'll start with the Phillies at home against the Mets. I'm going to go over 4.5 runs. I know that generally speaking, we like to play the team total on a road team if we really like the offense, because they're guaranteed to get a 9th inning at bat. I don't think that matters as much for the Phillies right now. They're averaging 5.56 runs per game at home compared to 4.95 on the road. So they don't even really need that 9th inning at bat. They're swinging the bats so well at home. Since they were 8-8, they've gone 23-5 and averaged 6.2 runs per game as an offense. In 9 of their last 11 games, they've been over this 4.5 threshold, averaging 7.18 runs per game. Any which way you look at it, they've been scoring a ton of runs, and this should not be a problem, especially against Jose Quintana on the bump for the Mets. He's probably washed up. He's in his mid-30s, I believe 35. 8.20 road ERA this season. The Phillies last year saw him in his last 2 starts. They scored 10 runs and 10 innings against him in those starts. If somehow the Phillies do need that bottom of the ninth at bat, whether it's tied or they're trailing by 1 run or something like that, Edwin Diaz has actually not been the Terminator level Edwin Diaz that he has been a few times in the past. He's allowed 4 home runs in about the last month. He's gotten knocked around recently, including the last time he saw the Phillies, which was earlier this week. Now on to the play where Sia and I are going to be on the same game. And it makes sense that we're both on this because I was looking at any which way to pick the Dodgers against the Reds without the odds being absurd. I believe the money line's in the 300s right now. I'm going to pick Tyler Glasnow to get a win. The Reds have lost 12 of their last 14 games. They're on the 3rd leg now of a 3-series West Coast trip. So they're road weary anyway. They can't win a game. The Dodgers just lost last night. They haven't lost back-to-back games in nearly a month. So it's a good spot to pick the Dodgers. Tyler Glasnow has been amazing. Brent Suter on the mound for the Reds. He's a reliever this year. He's been a long reliever in the past and taking spot starts, but he's not really stretched out. So this is essentially a bullpen game. That's a lot of chances for the Dodgers offense to pound any Reds reliever around the yard, and they don't have that deep of a bullpen to begin with. So you could look at the team total there if you want. I'm going with Glasnow to get the win because I believe he's going to go at least 5 innings, and they're going to be winning the entire game. Something else to look at if you wanted was the Glasnow strikeouts, but it's 8.5. That's really high. If you do like it, the Reds are 5th in baseball in K percentage. Glasnow is one of the most strikeout heavy pitchers in baseball, so you could go that route. But again, 8.5 is the high number. So I'm just going to go with Glasnow to get the win.
Yeah, Amax says, totally agree, Sniper. I'm tailing you and playing this as well. Suter plus Martinez. And that's what I was going to add on to your Sniper, because my pick, he says Suter plus Martinez plus bullpen doesn't inspire confidence. LAD, fully rested bullpen. So I'm going with a little bit more juice, Sniper, but I'm just going to go ahead and take the Dodgers, not money line, but -1.5 at -140. It's -140 in some places, -145 in others. Listen, it's a lot of juice to lay, but really, I got to say, Sniper kind of did my homework for me, but the Dodgers coming off a loss. We only have 2 wins for the Reds in the entire month of May. They've just really been struggling, and they go up against a guy who might win the Cy Young this year in Tyler Glasnow. You got Suter and Nick Martinez going for the Reds. I mean, it's just not an embarrassment of riches in terms of what the Reds are putting out there. And again, it's a long road trip. Both teams had to travel yesterday, but it's really obviously the Dodgers get to go home. It's the Reds that have been traveling away from home, including going to Dodger Stadium tonight. I think this really sets up for the Dodgers to win, especially coming off a 1-run game yesterday against San Francisco and Logan Webb. I think it's a time for them to really go off, win this game by 4 or 5 runs. So that's what I'm counting on. I'm laying the juice. I don't usually do this. I'm no stranger to maybe taking a run line, but taking a run line at -140 is expensive. But I think this is the time to strike. Give me the Dodgers -1.5. All right.
I do have a question on the travel, though.
Yeah.
When the Dodgers go home from San Diego, obviously they fly. You're not going to drive in that crap. But how long is the flight from San Diego to LA?
Yeah, that's a great question.
5 minutes? 10?
Yeah, it's not long. Very, very good question. And again, the Reds have been traveling along the West Coast. So I guess it was the Diamondbacks, I think, before was the last series. Then before that, somewhere else out on the West Coast. All right, Mike McClure, you crushed it with the Yankees yesterday. You went against the grain. Everybody, including the sharp money, was on the Twins, and it was an easy, no-sweat victory for the Yankees. But you're shifting gears today, and you're going to the PGA Championship. What's the PGA pick this afternoon?
Yes, yeah, no baseball today for me. We're going round 1. We're going to target Jon Rahm, a guy that I absolutely love this week. I'm looking at his round 1 score. You can bet head-to-head matchups, obviously, but you can also bet individual round scores. And I found one here that I really like, under 69.5 plus 115. What this means, Jon Rahm shoots -2 or better. We cash this bet. I love being able to cash this at a 2 under round, especially with what we've seen so far on the golf course. Guys like Victor Hovland, Xander Schauffele, and Jordan Spieth out there already all 3 under par on their front 9s. I think this is a setup that is perfect for Jon Rahm. There's a couple guys in the field that are really built for this track. One of them, Bryson DeChambeau. We talk about him a lot whenever we get to these majors, but it's Jon Rahm. He's incredibly long off the tee. He's one of the best approach players in the world still, but he's also really good at scrambling and around the greens. I think this is a spot where Jon Rahm is just continuing to be forgotten because of how dominant Scottie Scheffler has been. Rory just won. I think the pricing is off here. I think this number should be 68.5, not 69.5. Still, plus 115 on the 69.5 is a beautiful, beautiful price point. Give me Jon Rahm under 69.5. Again, -2 would cash this ticket for us.
All right. And Brian Thompson is asking, would you play it at 68.5?
Depends on the price. Again, 68.5 is the price, but I need the juice to understand where it's at there. I would assume that it's probably going to be at least plus 115 or better. I'm staring at the 69.5 plus 115. So
yeah,
you're
okay.
68. If you're not getting plus money on the 68, I would not.
Okay, fair enough. All right, look for plus money on that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was perfect. By the way, Buckets is in the chat. He showed up, and he's going to laugh at me when I know Snyder. He's like, yeah, he finally showed up. He's probably going to laugh at me when we get to this recap screen. Let's just go right to that as I try to pronounce some of these soccer names. But we're going to start with the sniper. He's got the Phillies team total over 4.5 at plus money, plus 105. That is Tyler Glass now to record a win at -110. I'm taking the Dodgers as well in a different way. Dodgers -1.5 at home against the Reds, of course, -140. McClure, Jon Rahm, round one under 69.5 at plus 115. And Gene Menez, he's given us some Preakness picks. Tuscan Gold 8-1, long shot, Just Steal 15-1, and he's got the Exacta key box 8 with 3, 7, and 9. Propstarz, Jared Jones under 17.5 outs. That's definitely not basketball. SportsLine picks. These are courtesy of Buckets, Leeds, and Norwich. Both teams to score at -115. And here we go. Real Betis? Real Betis? I'm going to go with Betis. Team total over 1.5 at even money. Wow. We really packed in everything today. We had PGA, MLB, a little NBA discussion, and of course, we had the Preakness discussion as well. We're going to bring it to you tomorrow for Big Pick Energy Friday. You can guarantee that. Thank you for being so helpful in the chat with all of the interaction and all of the picks, by the way. Big Cheesy, I see your picks. I see picks from Moshi and the rest of the crew. Let's try to cash those tickets. Let's try to cash the tickets that we put out here today on the Early Edge on behalf of Jake the Snake on the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s. Gene Menez, Propstarz, Mike McClure, the whole crew, Buckets in the chat, the Sniper, of course, Maestro in the chat, A-Mag's in the chat. The whole crew is here. The whole family is here. Thank you very much for being a part of it. We'll see you tomorrow on the Early Edge, and we'll see you at 12 o'clock today for the NFL Week 1 preview. I am the counselor. This is the Early Edge. We rest our case.